Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of our podcast, No Meeting Rooms Available with Brent Collins. I am Brent Collins, and I've got two special guests joining me today. Aaron, go ahead and let's start with you.
Brent, great to be here. Aaron Rector. I am a talent marketing, recruitment marketing, employer brand professional, sometimes professional, who's been in the space at least been in the space since 2012. Most recently worked with Brent and Jamie.
It's like a reunion, even
Almost
though
like
it's not been quite that long. But all right, Jamie, introduce yourself to the people if you would.
I'm Jamie Blakely. Have been in recruitment marketing, talent attraction, employer brand, talent branding, whatever you want to call it today. Since, I guess, like 2012 too. Anyway, I've been doing it for about 12 years.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys could do this.
So, boys and girls, that's your introduction to Aaron and Jamie. But there's something I consider more interesting and definitely more fun than their professional background, which on the surface may not seem relevant to our broader topic, but it absolutely plays a role in an employee experience. And there's an obligation by every manager in their effort to create a positive team culture to understand some of these nuances. And then, of course, all that's going to play out into an employer brand and how it's experienced by the team itself and then communicated out to the rest of the world. It all makes sense. Just have a look.
There's something that you guys, that the two of you don't know, and I'll share that with you, is when I am at home and I'm talking to my wife about you all, I have a name for you guys. And my nickname for you guys is the ADHD twins. So whenever instead of saying, yeah, Jamie and Aaron, she has no idea what your names are, but when I say ADHD twins, right away, she knows. And I hope me revealing that to you has not hurt your feelings.
No. I mean, especially since we just spent the last 20 minutes in chaos, me trying to even figure out how to use the mic.
That's true. Yeah, if I'd only been recording.
It wasn't until Jamie joined our team that I realized the compounding power of having two people with ADHD and going, oh, there's someone like me who has a brain that is just wired a little more chaotically. I gotta say to you, Jamie, when you joined the team was the best thing that happened to me on the team. It felt like a missing piece joined that made my work experience just so much better.
It's awesome.
Nice reading.
It only took about 2 seconds, but you could see the importance of a team connection to the soul, right? Which is obviously going to influence, well, basically everything. And to be clear, it's not just with people who have ADHD. However, I'd argue that if it's good for them, it's good for everybody, but that's a topic for a whole nother day. First, let's set the stage for this conversation.
People who are out here listening to this, they will either have, I think, a couple of reactions, one of which they'll look at this and hear these stories and go, I thought my situation was bad, and so I guess maybe mine's not as bad as some of these stories that I'm hearing, so by comparison, maybe we'll lift some people up. Or they'll walk away with this and go, gosh, I'm not alone. I can totally relate to some of that stuff.
The context is that the organization we were in had already done a return to office, and people on our team had been let go unceremoniously with very little communication or any type of kindness. And we were trying to regroup. Jamie had just joined. People were excited, and we were like, hey, we can come together as a team and regroup, and we can figure out some of the ways to build a team together that we hadn't been functioning at. The impetus of this story is the fact that we came together as a team to our manager to say, these are some core things we are asking for as a team. We think these are very reasonable things because we have been spread thin. We have had people leave. The dynamic and the even clarity of what we were supposed, like this mindset of just continue on. Just we're going to keep going, and we're going to add in these new tools and Gen AI. And we're like, we can't do all that if we don't fix ourselves as a team. That was when the reality of, hey, we're trying to help lead change and lead up, and there's managers who are just not going to listen. Like, no, that's not a problem. The craziness of it can make you start going like, this is getting so dysfunctional, and we're trying to have real, honest adult conversations. That's when like the trauma bonding comes together, because we all come together and like, are you having the same experience? Are you having the same experience? And so we came together more organically in this, not just about the work we're doing, but about our team and our culture. The biggest takeaway I've taken from this this last role I was in was that there is so much applicable between life in the corporate world and Survivor. And I'm a big Survivor fan. And the biggest thing in that to me is finding your people in work, having real people that you actually trust and actually have your back. And also knowing that there's some games you got to play because there's some people you need to have on your side, but maybe I don't trust them as much, or maybe I can't rely on them as much. And then when you get to work with really smart people like both of you, and you get to have a space where you can come together and not be afraid to just be yourself, that it's such a needed safe place in your work.
When I look back at my formal education that's supposed to prepare you for that real adult world and having a real job, this is a part of the textbook that must be missing. It's learn how to do the skills, learn how to be an expert in your topic, and you're going to do great things. And that's how you get a job. How you survive a job is
how you
ultimately
succeed in a job.
Yeah, it's a totally different game altogether.
I don't know where it came from. Like, I was homeschooled growing up.
Okay.
So, I just have my sisters all the time. And so my mom was like, you have each other's backs. You have to find your people. These are your people, whether you get along all the time or not. And I've taken it into the workplace too. With my first job, I worked at a transportation company, and I was there for 8.5 years. I hated my like, I loved him, hated him. I was like, y'all are just so annoying. Like, when I left and I went to a different company, there was no team dynamic. I was basically on an island by myself. I'm really good at my job and I'm doing a good job, but like, my God, I am lonely and I have no one to talk to. And this sucks. The next job that I went to work for an agency, and I led a team of people. And during that time, we went through several restructures, company acquisition, we changed companies. My whole goal with them was like, guys, I know you work on different accounts. I know you do different things, but you need to be a team. You need each other. So when I came back to work with y'all, I was like, hello, I need people. I need you to be a team with me, even though we do very different things. And I couldn't have survived the past 7 months if I didn't have you guys. You just need your people.
And
so, yeah.
Having someone come in and be purposeful about connecting with the team. I learned a lot from you, Jamie. I'm a people person, relation person, but I wasn't as good about connecting with others and going, I want to form a real friendship with some people. And Jamie, you coming in and doing that was the best thing I've learned in the last few years. And so just kudos to you.
Thank you. I didn't really give y'all an option.
Yeah, we had no option to.
Well,
you forced it upon us, and so we submitted.
I think that was a real testament to, we knew that we had to kind of slide in and fill that void of building a team, even though each of us served a different area of the company or different business area. It's a collection of individuals, so we kind of had to come together, right?
We spend most of our days at work. You need people to talk to. You need to have like shared experiences and connections. I need some people to be on my side and to be able to listen, even if they're not working on the same thing I am. Because
did you think that leadership was kind of taking that for granted? Where it was like, they're fine, they're adults, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's just so little training for managers that I've ever seen in my career, regardless of where I've been. And I think remote work and lack of training and more demand and productivity, it changed the dynamic. It's disheartening, but also the reality of corporate America, where just leaders that don't foster those things.
Oh, Aaron. See, he's acting on his best behavior in this conversation, which I naturally appreciate, and his point is valid, but Jamie's little story is the type of manager I think we all want. Maybe her ADHD has gifted her with an innate soft skill that's missing in many leaders who get promoted based on output results rather than creating an effective and healthy team. Whatever it is, she's definitely attuned, which is a benefit for the entire team.
I never wanted to be a people manager. I thought that was going to be horrible because, like I said, like, people are really irritating, and I was like, I can't juggle all these personalities.
Yeah, people are the worst. Absolutely.
I didn't really have an option when I got my contract cut, like, out of nowhere, and so the only job that I could get was as a people manager. But it ended up being like my favorite thing I've ever done in my entire life. That company took so much time and effort to send you through leadership training, and I learned so much of it. Is you cannot be a selfish person. Your job is to be there for everybody else. It's not about you. It's not about the work you do. Your satisfaction comes from your people succeeding. The most proud thing I am in my life is during my time there, 4 of my direct reports were promoted. The other day they called me and they're like, Jamie, I got the #1 spot in the company on employee evals. And I was like, Monica, I'm so proud of you. So
Wait, hang on. Are you saying that a manager should help you in your career progression?
yeah.
I don't.
So
I didn't.
No, that doesn't sound right at all. That is the
I'm not
opposite
sure
of
that
everything
that's
I've ever
actually-
heard.
I'm not sure that that's
No.
actually like legal.
Yeah. So when I came back to
No.
our team a few months ago, I was like, something is not right here. And I realized it's because our leader was not a leader. He was very self-involved, and everything was what mattered to him. And he wasn't looking out for everybody else.
Okay, boys and girls. Always remember, perception is reality and actions speak louder than words. Never assume your team knows what you're doing for them, and without trust, well, you're just going to be desperately trying to convince them that your efforts on their behalf are for their own good. Whether that's true or not, your team's already going to be skeptical of you, and so they're probably not going to believe your motives. So, just try to be a good person. Very basic.
There's a lot of this RTO mandate that's swirling around to say we collaborate better when we're together, and I think there's some truth to that. But I also think that can't be the excuse for ineffective leaders, ineffective processes, ineffective culture.
Clarity
And I
around
think-
what anyone is supposed to be doing from the highest level down.
It is harder to connect remotely. You have to put in the effort, but it's good.
Yes.
You should be putting in the effort. That should be
Exactly. Yep.
something that's prioritized, because
Yep.
the connections you make, the people you go through with it together, it's going to completely change your experience. And if you are a happier person, you're more effective.
Is being with people in person over the long run better for nurturing relationships and like culture at work in your take?
It's easier,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily make it better. It's having to put in the effort and time to make those relationships remotely. You have to literally make relationships to get anything done. And it's on you to be like, go figure out that department, go figure out that department, go make connections with those people. I really had to develop the skill on learning how to like reach out to other people and network. It's harder, yeah, but it helps you build that skill set. And like, I couldn't have survived this company without that skill set. Like, if I just sat around and been like, well, I don't know who those people are because they're not sitting next to me, then you'd fail.
Okay, folks. Did you hear what I just heard? Because what I heard Jamie say was that people who've been working remote successfully might be stronger, more proactive collaborators because we've had to out of necessity. Genius.
I think hybrid will prove to be the right approach in the long run, but the hybrid could look like a lot of different things. I mean, I think, Brent, for you and I, it was a year and a half or almost 2 years before we actually met in person. The fact that it took our team well over a year, had never met in person, and then I just remember when we met in person, it does something to you where you have a real connection with a person. You're like, oh, Brent, you're tall. I can get to know you more than just this. I am new in a role right now. It's been a hard transition for me, but there are benefits to it. And I've got to meet and have side conversations with the head of recruiting. And just in passing the other day, people just come over and I can walk over to people. We're all sitting there. In the past, I have to set up a call. It needs to be very formalized and have a presentation. They have a short amount of time. No one wants another meeting and no one wants another PowerPoint. And I struggled with that. Being together in person has benefited someone like me.
Well, I think by comparison, you have to think of the culture that you came from, where basically anything would outshine the experience.
I'm trying to make the analogy or just the point that, like, I worked remote my whole career and I love it. But when you can just I'm just doing my stuff, and I turn it off, and I can do
Wait, this
stuff
is
around
your
the house.
first time being in the office, like, ever in your career?
I did when I worked at an agency. That was awful for a lot of reasons. But since I've been in recruitment marketing and talent brand, I was remote.
Interesting.
Wow.
I think it's hard either way. There's different skills you learn different ways. Like Aaron's saying, you can just go talk to people in the office, and that's really great, and that is easy. But I'm struggling because, yeah, everybody can't just come over and talk to me. Back to the
There you
ADHD
go.
twin thing.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
really hard for me because I'm like,
Distraction.
and I'm like, I'm actually not getting as much done.
I
but
need to set
am.
my space up to focus and actually get things done. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is harder for me because there's a lot of stimulus going on that I'm like, I actually just really need some time to be by myself and focus.
Yep.
But I would rather,
So it shouldn't be a one size fits all, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Focus
So if
and or be depressed and cry at lunchtime, right? I'm talking for myself, not for
Exactly.
anybody else.
And if you're in an office, where are
Yeah.
you going to get the privacy to do
Where's the
that?
private room,
You
y'all?
need to work remote.
Or where's the screaming room or the smash
Yeah,
room, right?
that's true.
That's
Yeah.
that's what we need.
the company I worked at, I would have to give like tours to the new people because I was there so often. I was like, and this is the closet where I go cry. And they were like, that's Jamie's crying closet.
It's busy. There's a waiting list. Take a number.
I was like,
Yeah, you got to book it in advance.
you
You
think
got to
I'm
know.
joking?
Yeah.
But like, no, I really go in there and cry. Like, that is my crying
No,
closet. Would you like a key?
This is a tragic truth.
Like a key.
See, I absolutely hate that with Jamie or anybody else for that matter. This is why we're talking about the importance of leaning on your team. I'm not saying everybody on your team should pair up with a designated cry buddy or anything, because I would be horrible for that. But can we agree on some reciprocal compassion to start with?
When you've got companies saying we're people led, I think we've all heard that somewhere, and we're here to keep the best talent. We want to attract the best talent. We want to keep the best talent. It feels to me like there's some sort of a contradiction. And I think from our perspective in candidate messaging, talent attraction, that is incredibly hard to try to go to market and say, look at the way we're so people oriented and we do all these things. It maybe is just kind of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Is it just me?
No, it's not just you.
Okay.
To me, it's like, I think that's just going to be true for any corporation. They're going to say one thing.
No one can say or speak the truth or be that transparent, right?
People need to lean in and change is like at the leadership level, like your manager level. Person that changes your experience and gives you that experience. They're the ones who,
Very true.
I guess, play that out for you. We should be spending more energy and time into developing your leaders to be a good leader, instead of trying to like fix the whole situation.
What Jamie just shared might be the single biggest golden nugget for all of employer branding and messaging. And if you're in this industry like we are, you know that leaders in management determine the authenticity of your employer brand when it's communicated to an external audience. So yeah, why aren't we spending more time focused on that relationship and trying to take it to a more micro level that's actually felt and experienced through that manager and employee relationship? I know, easier said than done. But worth trying.
So it's like the BS that you deal with when you're in a big company is just kind of the nature of the beast. If you're going to play in there, there's going to be bad leaders. There's going to be unclear things. There's going to be drinking from the fire hose, and you have to make your career yourself.
Aaron, we were just having fun pointing the finger at managers, and now you're telling us that we have to have accountability too? Well, that's just not any fun at all. Like, it sucks, but he is 100% right. It's not a one-way street. So, damn it.
That's where, if you find a good team and you find good people to work with, most importantly, if you find a great manager, then sharing that it's a great place to work and that you enjoy your job is natural. It's not hypocritical. And
So
yeah,
the value and the importance of your immediate supervisor
Yeah.
can make or break your experience with that
yeah.
company. It's an exponential effect, right? You've got one person, you don't train them well, and they have 8 or 9 people that report to them.
I've got the best hack to figure out if your manager is going to be a good manager or not. And it's not what you think.
Okay.
I think
What
it's
is
a
it?
hot take. I want to see
Okay.
how your email inbox is organized, and I want to see how your files are organized. If
Okay.
they are
Gotta go
chaotic
into this.
in their own system, then they're never going to be able to manage well.
Interesting. I see Jamie's face might be trying. There may be a contradictory point of view.
Living in my mess is one thing. I'm not going to do that to everybody else. If it's Aaron's theory, I'm like a demon. But I would never let the rest of my people live in that
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's What is the mess that you make us clean up? I think is the not you.
There you go.
Right? What's the mess that you
That's
give
what I
us and
would
say, here's my mess,
Exactly.
go clean it up. That's
Yep.
I think that's where you're
Yeah.
getting at with our
okay. So I need to tweak
former
mine.
leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our former leader, he just wanted us to live in his mess, and he didn't listen at all when we were like, this is
There you go.
chaos.
Yeah.
Please, we
Yep.
need help. And he's like, well, this is how I do it, so you're fine.
And it was always like making you feel dumb for not being able to go along with it or figure it out. And it was like,
Yeah.
I am a smart person. I've been very effective for 20 years in doing my job. It's so
Right. It's
psychologically damaging.
managing a team, and it's been a long time since I've been a people manager, and so Jamie I know has more like recent experience of it, but managing a team is about being clear and making sure they are set up for success.
Yes.
And
There you
like
go.
delegating is very different than just I have things on my plate and I'm just shoving it onto you. I just will do everything I can not to work for somebody like that again.
And yet it's inevitable. We've all been in Aaron and Jamie's shoes, but Aaron touched on a secret earlier about our own accountability and responsibility as employees to lead up to our managers. We'll always have poor managers along our careers, and so we've got to have grit and fortitude and thick skin, which all develops as you go through more experiences along the way, and, well, you'll either end up ground into dust or a miserable old codger. I don't think there's any other path. Aaron hits on this a little bit later, but in the spirit of ADHD thoughtfulness, we'll keep this episode a little bit shorter. You can watch part 2 of our conversation next week. Maybe by then my beard will have grown back. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.